Regrettably, there's more than just tax hikes in this. You noted the president's budget proposes to saddle the future with an additional $14.5 trillion in deficits over the coming decade. You know, it's hard for us non-budget geeks to get our heads around what that means. But what does this level of debt mean to Americans? Do we need to worry?
So I think the things that are worth pointing out here are that, number one, this doesn't add up. They have claimed repeatedly in the rollout of all these various plans, rescue plan, family plan, job plan, that we're going to pay for all this, right? We get 10 years of spending, 15 years of taxes, it'll all be fine. Well, if you look at the budget, they're going to borrow an additional $1.5 trillion over the next 10 years than they otherwise would have. And the underlying problem was big enough that we had $13 trillion in deficits to begin with. Now, we're now up to 14.5. That's a reflection of the fact that we are starting with an enormous amount of debt. Right? We have debt as a fraction of GDP larger than 100%, highest it's ever been, and this budget would drive it north to something like 107% of GDP. If you look inside here, here's a fun fact for budget geeks. There's a phenomenon known as a concept known as the primary deficit. That's the difference between the revenue you have and the spending you do, excluding interest. So that's sort of money coming in and activities of the government, primary deficit. And then there's the interest costs. By the end of the 10-year window, the interest costs are bigger than the primary deficit. It's why we're running deficits. So we are now getting to the point where we're taking out a new credit card to pay the interest on the previous credit card. That's not sustainable. And what this administration has said pretty clearly in their message is not our problem. There's no acknowledgement of it, no attempt to deal with it.